Next, we are going to go over the song entitled Mutt, and it is played by Blink-182. I am in standard tuning, and during my explanation of this song, I'm going to refer to my strings by their letter names. My top string is the low E string, the second from the top is the A string, the third is the D, the fourth is the G, the fifth from the top string is my B string, and my bottom string is my high E string. We are going to begin the song by forming an A major chord. You can do this a couple of different ways. You can either take your pointer finger and bar across the D, G, and your B strings at the second fret so that your pointer finger is laying flat and covering across those three strings at the second fret. How I do it is what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my pinky on the second fret of my B string. Above it, I'm going to place my ring finger on the second fret of the G string, and above that finger, I'm going to place my middle finger on the second fret of my D string, forming an A major chord. Now, once we've got these notes pressed down, what we're going to do first is we're going to pick our G string. Pick it one time, then pick your B string one time, and then pick your D string one time. It's going to sound like this, played slowly. In real speed. And that's going to equal 1. So once you, like I said, we have our A major chord is formed. You pick your G string first, then your B string, then your D string, and then you're going to start back over. But after we pick those three notes one time, that equals 1. And we're going to repeat that 16 times. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play it 16 times in real speed. It will sound like this. After we have played the introduction 16 times like we just did, we're then going to go into a phrase of notes that we're going to call verse 1. I've broken this verse up into 4 parts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the notes in each part, and then at the end I'm going to play it for you in real speed so that you can get your timing right. The first part in verse 1, it begins by playing our A string open twice. And with that, we're going to play a palm mute. So rest your palm on these strings with you see my picking hand here. My palm is rested lightly on the strings. I'm going to pick the A string open twice. Then I'm going to place my pointer finger here on the second fret of my G string. I'm going to pick that one time without a palm mute. And I'm going to repeat all that one more time. So I'm going to play the A string open twice with the palm mute. And then I'm going to play the second fret of my G string once. And that's going to be part 1. So part 1 together and played slowly will sound like this. Part 2, we are going to begin once again by playing our A string open twice with the palm mute. Keep your pointer finger here on the second fret of your G string. You're going to pick the G string one time, and then you're going to hammer on to the fourth fret of your G string. So it's going to sound like this. Once again. And then you're going to repeat that again. So you're going to play your A string open 2 times. Then you're going to pick your G string and hammer on to the 4th fret. And that's going to end part 2. Part 2 together and slow. Parts 1 and 2 together, slow. Then what you're going to do is you're going to once again palm mute. You're going to play the A string open once. Then you're going to play the 4th fret of your A string once. And you're going to place your pinky here on the 6th fret of your G string. You're going to play it one time without the palm mute. Then you're going to palm mute and you're going to play where your pointer finger is here at the 4th fret of your A string 2 times. And then without the palm mute, play the 6th fret of your G string once again. And that's going to end part 3. So part 3 played slowly will sound like this. Parts 1 through 3 together and slow. And then we're going to come down here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our pointer finger, we're going to place it on the 2nd fret of our D string, and below it we're going to place our middle finger on the 2nd fret of our G string. You're going to palm mute the first 2 notes. What we're going to do is we're going to play our D string twice. Our pointer finger's on the 2nd fret. We're going to play that with a palm mute 2 times. And my middle finger is currently on the 2nd fret of my G string. I'm going to play the G string once, and I'm going to take my pinky and I'm going to use it to hammer onto the 4th fret. So it's going to sound like this. So once again, we're going to repeat that. We're going to repeat that by playing our D string 2 times, 2nd fret where my pointer finger is with the palm mute. Then I'm going to pick the G string 1 time. My middle finger's at the 2nd fret, and then I'm just going to hammer onto the 4th fret. So it'll sound like this. And that's going to end part 4. So part 4 played together in slow. Parts 1 through 4 together in slow. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through all of that 2 times. So verse 1, we just went over parts 1 through 4. You'll play parts 1 through 4, and then you'll repeat those again. So you're going to run through it twice. And what I'm going to do is I'm fixing to go through it in real speed. In real speed it's going to sound like this, and I'm going to go through it twice. And then what we're going to do after we do that is we are going to move to what we're going to label as verse 2. And in verse 2 what we're going to do is we're first going to form an A open position power chord. And we're going to do that by taking our pointer finger and laying it flat against the neck of the guitar so that it covers across the D and the G strings at the 2nd fret. Now the 3 notes that we're going to be playing is we're going to play the open A string. We'll be playing the 2nd fret of our D and the 2nd fret of our G. So those 3 strings are going to be played in this chord. It's the A open position power chord. And our strum pattern, just to kind of help us get going with this, what we're going to do is we're going to form this chord and we're going to strum it down, down, up, down, down. It's going to sound like this, played slowly. After that, you're going to strum it down, up, down. And then after that, you're going to strum it down, up, down, up. So I'm not going to play it in real speed. I'm just going to kind of play it just a little bit quicker. It's going to sound like this. Once again. So in real speed it's going to sound like this. After we've done that one time, and like I said before, I'm going to tell it to you one more time. I strum down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. After that we're going to make our chord change here to an F sharp 5 chord. You'll place your pointer finger on the 2nd fret of your low E string. Your ring finger is going to go on the 4th fret of your A. And your pinky is going to go on the 4th fret of your D. You're going to strum it down once. Then you're going to strum it down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm going to do it slowly. It'll sound like this. In real speed it's going to sound like this. So far in verse 2 we have this. And then our next chord in the 2nd verse, or what we've labeled as the 2nd verse, you'll play an E open position power chord. It's going to be played, you're going to place your pointer fingers flat against the neck of the guitar so that it covers across your A and your D strings at the 2nd fret. The strings that will be played in this chord will be your low E string, your open low E, and then you'll be playing the 2nd fret of your A and the 2nd fret of your D to form the E open position power chord. And we're going to strum this just like we just strummed the F sharp 5 chord. You're going to strum it down once, and then you're going to strum down, up, down, up, down, up. So it's going to sound like this, played slowly. In real speed. So to run through verse 2 in real speed in one time, it will sound like this. So that's going to be one run through. We played the A open position power chord, the F sharp 5 chord, and then we played our E open position power chord. That equaled one time. You're going to repeat all of that once more. So you're going to play verse 2 a total of 2 times, and then we're going to move into what we're going to call a transition. We're going to play 2 chords that's going to set us up for the chorus. What we're going to do is the first chord is going to be a D5 power chord. You're going to want to place your pointer finger on the 5th fret of your A string, your ring finger on the 7th fret of your D string, and your pinky will go below it on the 7th fret of your G string. We're going to strum it like we did our first chord out of verse 2. What we're going to do is we're going to strum it down, down, up, down, down. Then you're going to strum it down, up, down. And then down, up, down, up. So I'm going to play that, what I just did, I'm going to play it real slow. It's going to sound like this. And then what you're going to do is after you run through that strum pattern one time, we're going to play the first part of it once again. That first part it went down, down, up, down, down. So all in all, what we're going to have when we move to this D5 chord here is we're going to strum it all together. We're going to strum it like this. We're going to strum it down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. And then you're going to strum it down, down, up, down, down. So all together it's going to sound like this in real speed. Then what you're going to do is you're going to move up a whole step so that now your pointer finger is on the 7th fret of your A string, your ring finger is on the 9th fret of your D, and your pinky will be on the 9th fret of your G. What you're going to do here is you're going to strum down, up, and you're going to do that 4 times. So slowly it's going to sound like this. In real speed it will sound like this. And that's going to be the end of our transition. So our transition's 2 chords. It's just going to be the D5, and then we're going to move up a whole step and be playing our E5 here. I guess the tricky part's the strum pattern, which you don't have to use. I'm just trying to get you something just to kind of get started. I know that, once you start going, you'll do your own thing, but if you're having problems getting started strumming, I'm trying to give you a strum pattern. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the transition all together with the strum pattern that we went over in real speed. It will sound like this. And then that's going to set us up for the chorus. So the chorus, what we're going to do is, and before I say anything about that, I'd like to say that that transition is only played one time. So far the order of the song is going like this. We start the introduction off, we play it 16 times. Then we play what we went over in verse 1, we're going to play all of that 2 times. And then we're going to play those 3 chords in verse 2. We'll run through those twice. Then we're going to play our transition 1 time, and then we're going to move into the chorus, okay? For the chorus, what we're going to do is we're going to place our pinky on the 7th fret of our D string, and we're going to take our pointer finger and we're going to place it on the 5th fret of our low E string. You also want your pointer finger to lightly be touching your A string but not pressing firmly on it, okay? We're going to play on that string, but it's going to give us a muffled sound. So you just want, the bottom part of your pointer finger to lightly be touching your A string. What we're going to do is we're going to strum this first chord here, which is my pinky's on the 7th fret of my D. My pointer finger is lightly touching the A string, but it is firmly pressing down on the 5th fret of my low E. This is the first chord that we're going to play, and we're going to strum it like we've done before. We're going to strum it down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, and then down, up, okay? So played slowly, it's going to sound like this. In real speed, it's going to sound like this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to leave our pinky here this whole time. We're going to leave it on the 7th fret of our D string. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our ring finger and we're going to place it on the 7th fret of our low E string. So the second chord that we form here is going to be our ring finger on the 7th fret of our low E string. It's also going to lightly be touching the A string, and I've got my pinky on the 7th fret of the D. So like I said, once again we're going to be playing our A string, but it's going to be another muffled sound because my ring finger is just lightly touching that string. It's not pressing down on it. Once we move to this chord here, what we're going to do is we're going to strum it down one time, and then we're going to strum it down, up, down, up, down, up. Played slowly, it will sound like this. In real speed. So far in the chorus, I'm going to play those two strum patterns with those first two chords. It's going to sound like this in real speed. Then our next chord, what we're going to do is, like I said before, you're going to leave your pinky there on the 7th fret. You're going to take your pointer finger and you're going to place it on the 5th fret of your A string. You're going to play this down one time, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pick your pointer finger up off the neck, and you're going to strum your A string open and your D string 7th fret down and then up. Okay, so that's going to sound like this. Then what you're going to do is you're going to stretch your pinky over to the 4th fret of your A string, so that now my pointer finger is on the 4th fret of the A, and my pinky is still on the 7th fret of the D. It hasn't left. You're going to strum that down one time, those two notes, your A and your D strings. And then you're going to pick your pointer finger up off the neck, and you're going to strum your A string and your D string down and then up. And that's going to end the chorus. So I'm going to play it slowly first. It will sound like this. And so once we run through those 4 chords, just like we just went over, that's going to equal one time. And you're going to repeat that 6 times. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to play the chorus 6 times in real speed. It will sound like this. And so that's going to be the chorus. What we're going to do after we play the chorus is we're going to repeat everything that we just went over exactly like we went over it one more time. So that being that, we're going to go right back to the introduction and play it 16 more times. Then we're going to play verse 1 twice. We're going to play verse 2 twice. We're going to play our transition 1 time. And then we're going to play the chorus 6 more times. After that, we're going to play an interlude. The interlude is going to consist of us playing 4 chords. The first is an A5 power chord. It's going to be played by placing your pointer finger on the 5th fret of your low E string, and your ring finger will go on the 7th fret of your A string. You're going to play those 2 notes, your top and your second from the top string. You'll play them twice. Immediately after you play it the second time, you're going to pick your fingers up off the board so that the note will stop. Then what we're going to do is we're going to move up a whole step, that same shape, so that now my pointer finger is on the 7th fret of my low E, and my ring finger is on the 9th fret of the A. Once again, I'm going to play those twice, and immediately pick my fingers up off the board so that the note stops. So far in the interlude we have this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to play a D5 chord. Place your pointer finger on the 5th fret of your A string, and your ring finger will go on the 7th fret of your D. You'll play those two notes. You'll play them twice and immediately stop them. And then you're going to move down a half a step so that now your pointer finger is on the 4th fret of your A, and your ring finger is on the 6th fret of your D. Play those twice. And that's going to equal 1 time. So to run through the interlude once in slow, it will sound like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat all of that 2 times to play the interlude. I'm going to do that and play it for you in real speed. It will sound like this. After the interlude is played, you will then play the introduction a total of 8 times. After you have played the introduction 8 times, you will then go directly to the chorus. So say if I'm playing my 8th run through on the introduction, it will go. Then I'm going to move directly to the chorus, and I'm going to play it, this time I'm going to play the chorus a total of 4 times. And after that, after we play the chorus 4 times, here at the end we have an outro. What it is going to be is we're going to form our A open position power chord that we went over earlier. You'll play it 2 times and let it ring out, which means I'm just continuing to press down firmly on those notes. The second thing that we'll do is we're going to move here. We're going to form a power chord here at the, we're going to place our pointer finger on the 2nd fret of our A string, our ring finger on the 4th fret of the D, and our pinky will go on the 4th fret of our G string. You're going to play those notes twice. Then we're going to move up and we're going to place our pinky on the 7th fret of our D, and our pointer finger will go on the 5th fret of our A. You'll play those 2 notes twice. Then you're going to move your pointer finger down 1 fret so that now your pointer finger is on the 4th fret of your A and your pinky is on the 7th fret of your D. Play those twice. And that's going to equal 1 run through. So one run through for the outro is going to be like this. And then you're going to repeat that twice. So all together in real speed, the outro played 2 times is going to sound like this. And to end the song, after you played your outro 2 times, you're going to play your A open position power chord once and let it ring out. And that is going to be Mutt by Blink-182.